A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl.
Shocking allegations levelled at Sean Diddy Combs have burst the floodgates on salacious claims about an industry many people believe harboured a monster. Understandably, the internet's ablaze with claims about these events and whether other powerful figures were involved too. Well, last week I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims had already received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as they have something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invited her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves. But now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact. And we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and...
Girl, let me spill the tea that's got everyone buzzing. Piers Morgan, that outspoken British journalist, just had a major meltdown after being forced to remove his interview with Jaguar Wright. And it was messy. Now, if you're wondering who these two are, let me break it down. Piers is notorious for his unfiltered drama-filled interviews, while Jaguar is a singer known for dropping serious bombshells. So when they sat down together, you already knew it was going to be wild. Word on the street is, the interview was so explosive it had to be wiped from the internet. What did Jaguar say that was so scandalous? Stay tuned. This tea is about to get real.
Yeah, I watched that interview. Why the hell you gotta talk to me about Jay-Z? You know they always say, oh, they're going to talk about Jay-Z. Now I gotta talk more about this wig wearing, but I feel a certain way when it comes to what Jaguar Wright says about Jay-Z.
Okay.
One, I don't know their relationship. I've never seen her around us at Rockefeller.
Okay.
You know, not saying that she don't know him, because clearly she's worked with him in some manner.
Right. She's got some credits. I looked at her credits.
MTV Unplugged and things like that. Yeah. As far as their personal relationship, I have no clue. So I really can't say. Her allegations towards him, some of them to me are like out there, like far-fetched for me to believe.
Right.
You know, but the other stuff, like he was dating Aaliyah, I've been told y'all that way before she even said that.
Right.
When I said it, I was, yo, you can't be talking about the dad, and this is 20-something years ago.
Right.
Right. But even now, Dame admits that it was over Aaliyah, right? I'm the one that told everybody first that Jay was with Aaliyah first.
Right.
You know, that finally came out. So for me, some of the stuff she's saying, I've been saying as far as that goes. But some of the other things that she alleges, like the Kathy White situation, I don't know about that.
Okay.
You know,
so you kind of like seem like the rest of us. Some may be truth, and then some maybe I don't know about that.
Well, what I would say is I wouldn't put nothing past nobody, right?
Got you.
In regards to that, especially in the manner of public humiliation for Jay, having a baby by another woman on Beyonce, who everybody loves. He would have got destroyed in the media, right? But then again, not really, because he's cheated on Beyonce before, and she just take him back and take him back and take him back.
Right.
But she tell all the other women, leave your man. He's I'm irreplaceable. To the left, and all the women will lead a man. But she stay there with this dude.
Now that's something interesting, because I'm hearing people talk about like Beyonce's losing followers now just because of her conversation with, you know, just being aligned with Jay.
Right. Well, that could be some truth to that. I don't know. I mean, when she first got with him, a lot of people didn't understand it and supported it until after a certain amount of time. You know what I'm saying? But getting back to the Kathy White thing, the only thing that makes me look at it and where it may be some truth to it is the girl Claudia Jordan being connected to Kathy White. And they said her and Kathy White was messing around with Jay and Diddy, allegedly. We all been around each other, and I've been around Claudia Jordan, right? That don't mean I dated her, right? I've been in plenty of parties with her. I might have been even at a Diddy party, and she might have been there. You know what I'm saying? Not an after party, but you know, just a regular party. You know what I'm saying? So that don't mean that. But when Claudia Jordan started elaborating more and saying, "Oh well, we was only around them this day." Oh yeah, but then we were around them this day. It was like, hold on, I thought y'all didn't have no relations with these dudes. So now you just put yourself around them a few times, which kind of makes it look shaky. Then there's the thing where Claudia Jordan says in an interview, it was in regards to Kim Porter dying and people feeling like it could have been mysterious, like allegedly Diddy could have been behind it, right?
Right.
So Claudia Jordan says in the interview that, yo, y'all think these people will be out here dying from natural causes, and they don't, you know? And she's like, you know, these people are powerful, right? So just because you see people in a coma, that, to me, the coma was Jamie Foxx, right? Because Diddy situation with Jamie Foxx. I want to get into that for sure. Or Albie Shore was in the coma, right?
Right.
And then she says it was pneumonia, which was Kim Porter. I believe she said pneumonia. And then she went to say, and some of these people y'all think be having brain aneurysms, right? Now, Kathy White died of a brain aneurysm.
Okay.
Right? So when she go to say, and some of these people died for coma, y'all think these people really went in comas and died of pneumonia and brain aneurysm? And then she goes, and y'all think these is natural causes? They're not.
Okay.
So when she said that, she implicated to me that allegedly she know more than what she's saying. And when she said brain aneurysms and that she didn't really die of a brain aneurysm, right? Allegedly, that
some foul.
That, yeah. So it tells me Claudia Jordan knows more than what she's acting like, but she's scared to say it. And then she has every right to be.
You thought you were ready for the tea, but honey, buckle up. Jaguar Wright dropped some serious names, and one of them could shake up the music industry for good. In her interview with Piers Morgan, what started as a casual chat turned into a full-blown expose that had celebs sweating and PR teams scrambling. Jaguar, known for her bold opinions, didn't hold back. She spilled secrets about top artists, producers, and industry execs who thought they were untouchable. One name, a rapper-turned-mogul, was accused of manipulating charts and buying streams to keep their artists on top. But it didn't stop there. Jaguar described wild parties where married celebs were getting a little too cozy with people who weren't their spouses. The tea was scorching, and the aftermath? Unbelievable.
Expectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Not unexpected, Piers. If you've watched a single interview with her, you'd know she's been saying that for quite some time. First correction, but let's go.
During that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Reese, why is he apologizing? He didn't say anything bad. We have the clips. We can go through them. In fact, we have them on my video. I have not received a cease and desist. What is your reaction to Piers not only apologizing, but editing them out of the YouTube video?
Dude, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Piers Morgan must have felt some sort of way. And look, let's not operate in a vacuum. We all know that, Piers is not making these decisions. It's going to be the higher ups probably, right?
Sure,
people who may be concerned, people who may have relationships. At the end of the day, these are media companies. We're talking about some of the biggest moguls in the media world, in the music and entertainment industry, right? Jay-Z and Beyonce. So let's not think that there's not some sort of connection or behind the scenes, under the table discussion happening. That being said, that's all speculation. What we do know is what we've seen Piers Morgan say, which is, I got a legal demand and we're editing our video. And I'm blown away that they would comply with that, because meaning Piers Morgan and his show is simply allowing people who claim to have personal knowledge on the show to attest to what they've heard and seen. We also had another guest on the show who counterbalances it and says, hey, I would never give this woman a platform. I don't believe a word she says, right? You and I heard that.
Correct.
So
Correct. They didn't like that he said it, but he said it exactly. They said, this guy's not telling you, she's a conspiracy theorist, is what Vlad said. So even if you wanted to argue, well, the other side was said.
Yeah, and look, and he also takes the position in all of his interviews that, hey, look, the other side is not here today, right? Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here today. Get them on the show. Maybe he invited them, right? Have them make a public statement. We don't know all these things, but for him to just edit the video is pretty shocking. It tells me that he's legitimately scared of getting sued.
Even Piers Morgan was left speechless by Jaguar Wright's revelations. When she brought up drug use in the industry and dropped a certain name, Piers looked like he'd seen a ghost. The interview went viral instantly, with fans playing detective, trying to guess who she was exposing. Celebs posted cryptic messages, adding fuel to the fire. Then, just as the interview hit its peak, it vanished, completely wiped from the internet. Now, conspiracy theories are swirling. Was it a powerful celeb covering their tracks? A record label pulling strings? The mystery only made people want to see it even more.
Well, I don't want to. I like Piers. I've been on the show. I want to be back on the show, but he's not uncensored. he just proved to the world, if you send a cease and desist, he will cower. And I'm kind of shocked by that. I can't not say the truth. I got to be honest. Look, maybe there's more to the story. You're right, and I'd love to know. And we'll have to. He didn't share it to us. He's supposed to be uncensored. He does this to so many people, where he shares theories and stuff because we come on and share our thoughts. And I don't understand how he would be liable for that. Again, to me, this is just shocking that Jay-Z and Beyonce were able to get him to edit it. Now, they're not out there doing it to others yet, and I guess that's my next question. Like, what is your reaction to Jay-Z and Beyonce doing this? Does this make them look less guilty because they're finally stepping up and doing such actions? And do you think now other channels like myself and others are at risk at receiving these cease and desists? What is your reaction to all that?
So, look, as someone who believes in aggressively pursuing reputation management, particularly online and in the media, I don't blame Jay-Z and Beyonce for taking a position and being aggressive with it, right? I think the conversation has to be had that, look, these statements are false, they're defamatory. I haven't seen any public statements by Jay-Z and Beyonce since this P. Diddy thing happened. It almost seems like they've been kind of laying in silence, despite the connections that people have made. So I do think that this is probably the first domino that will fall among many. And I fully anticipate and fully expect to see Jay-Z and Beyonce issuing more of these things. Absolutely. I don't think.
How do we respond as creators? Because I like to deem myself uncensored. I share my opinions, but I also make it clear it's my opinions. I've never once declared Jay-Z and Beyonce guilty of anything. I don't know. But are we allowed to share other viewpoints that are saying otherwise?
I think what's great about the United States of America is that viewpoints should not be censored. And you have not taken the position, Andy. You're an outstanding guy because you cover both sides and you tell people that, look, or you say, this is my opinion and this is what I base it on. So I don't think that you're in the line of fire. You're in fact commenting on the fact that Piers Morgan received a cease and desist and edited his video, right? So it would be ironic if they sent to you a cease and desist. That would almost be like, you know, you talking about somebody who infringed a video and got a cease and desist, and then people claiming that you infringed as well. And so it's a fair comment. It's criticism. It's a matter of grave public concern. It's probably the most important matter of public concern outside of the hurricane that's happening, which is trafficking and all these sex victims coming out. Yeah. So it's a serious matter of public concern. So comment on it is something that our laws protect.
So here it is, not to inception everybody. Here's my video with those uncensored comments still intact. Am I legally safe to keep this up? I didn't make any comment confirming what Piers said. In fact, we talked about the whole story. What is your advice there for any content creator who maybe has this clip online? Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, I think what you should do is you should just be careful of what you say. If you're covering a topic, cover the topic, provide perspective, you know, add some value to it like you do on your show. You kind of debate it. You have guests on, you reach out to people involved, comment on it. Commenting on it is fine. Making factual statements is a little bit different, right? If you come out and you say, you know, you've read the text messages, you've seen it. This guy is like this. He's a sex offender. He's like that. You better have some receipts to back it up. Instead of just making these factual conclusions, make comments like you are. Criticize the fact that Piers Morgan has a show called Uncensored and yet is censoring himself. And we haven't seen the cease and desist letter, right? Yeah. Well, he's also in London. They do have different laws. That could be part of this as well, to be fair. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say they do have different laws. And we saw this at play in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard litigation that occurred, you know, in London. It's interesting because, you know, there, the burden of proof for the most part is on the defendants versus here, it's on the plaintiffs bringing the defamation claim to show falsity and damage, right? So there it's on sort of the defense that could be behind it. But they also have these journalistic privileges as well. They don't have a First Amendment like we do in the United States of America. So that's important context as well.
So, you know, I am not going to play the clips here, not out of fear, but because in case YouTube, which sometimes does suck, stops us, I'm going to point you to this video so you can watch the clips in context. So at the end of this video, I'm going to put it big on screen. Go watch it. I'm going to summarize, though, just to protect myself, because even though I feel like we're in the right, do you think it was a smart move for Jay-Z and Beyonce to make him edit it? Because in a way, that's going to spotlight these clips even more, right? And they can't really stop it now that it's all over Twitter and all over YouTube. As a lawyer, how would you advise someone in such a situation? Like, should they have just had a statement of apology, a statement of correction, and let the video still live? Or do you think it was smart of them to actually make Piers edit it as well?
While everyone was busy playing detective, the real drama was happening behind the scenes. Piers Morgan, usually unshakable, completely lost it when his big interview with Jaguar Wright suddenly vanished. Word is, a powerful music mogul's legal team stormed in, demanding the interview be wiped or else. And we're not talking about minor consequences. This was career-ending, bank-draining trouble. Piers, known for handling pressure, was furious. He paced the studio, red-faced, shouting about freedom of the press and refusing to be silenced. One intern even claimed he threatened to release the unedited interview on Twitter. Can you imagine the chaos that would have caused? Next voice. Here's where things got wild. Piers didn't just lose his cool, he lost it completely. During his next show, he went on a live rant that left jaws on the floor.
I have a lot to say on this, Andy, and that's because as somebody who aggressively pursues reputational issues, I think it really depends on which side of the fence you're on. If you are on the side of Jay-Z and Beyonce, you're on their PR team, you're on their legal team, you are taking this seriously. You are going to send cease and desist letters to anyone in the media who is falsely portraying you to be complicit with P. Diddy. I mean, that's the biggest name and the biggest issue plaguing the United States right now in the news is this issue, and you're being associated with it. So if you want to sort of clean up your association with it, guilt by association, if you will, then this is exactly what you're going to do, right? And so it's an aggressive legal move. On the other hand, if you are a content creator, if you are in the news media, this is a scary thing because you are providing commentary. You're interviewing people who claim to have personal knowledge. Okay. And she does rub shoulders. This particular woman was an S worker, right? She ran knee deep with a lot of big names. And then you have another guy who came out and said, yeah, look, I mean, you have another guy who came out and said, this woman is a conspiracy theorist. So who really knows? But the point is, you know, Piers Morgan is giving a platform to these people. I don't think it's fair to compel him to edit something and remove it from the universe, right? To the extent that he can, when he's simply giving a platform for public opinion. In this case, somebody who claims to have personal knowledge. She's not a nobody, right? She's not just somebody off the street who's claiming this is what happened. She's somebody. And more importantly, Andy, Piers does not say, you played the clip, Piers does not say that Jay-Z and Beyonce are guilty. He does not take a position. He asks questions like a reporter and a journalist should do.
And at one point, he does even say they're not here to defend themselves. He does. And you're right. Vlad says, oh, it's all nonsense, conspiracy theorist. But what they do really focus on these clips, and you can watch it in the next video, they talk about his silence, which really was deafening. He hasn't been saying anything. And when you say silence, say nothing, sometimes that sounds guilty, right? Even though it doesn't mean to be, doesn't mean it is. That's just how it approaches. So it's interesting that the first statement we're getting from Jay-Z and Beyonce regarding Diddy is a cease and desist, allegedly, sent to Piers Morgan. And we'll be interesting to see if I get one or if others get one. Do you think, again, people are trying to associate guilt to Jay-Z? I don't know. I wasn't there, but these are fair questions it seems to be willing to ask. And shouldn't he at this point release a public statement before he's out there doing private cease and desist? It just seems a little shady. Like, part of me wants to see that discovery from Piers Morgan's lawsuit. I'm kind of shocked Piers isn't letting it go and seeing if they actually sue him, because in a weird way, if they sued us or Piers or whatever, wouldn't we get a lot more data that they might not want out there regarding this whole Diddy debate?
Right. That's exactly right. So as a plaintiff in a defamation case, and it's similar in England, right, which is likely where this lawsuit would be filed if one were to arise, there's going to be an opportunity for defenses to present, evidence that supports their statements, and there's going to be an opportunity for plaintiffs to present theirs. I mean, look, you asked a really good question, which is Jay-Z and Beyonce have been silent, and do they look guilty by not speaking out about this? I think they should have issued a statement a long time ago. If I'm on their PR team, I'm going to say, look, one sentence, right? One sentence. We are not associated with this. We don't condone the acts that were alleged.
We're horrified by the tape we saw.
We're horrified by the tape. I mean, look, many people have been alleged to be associated with it. Very few, if any, have come out and made any statements at all. And so it's difficult in these situations, right? Because once you make a statement, people then pry that open and you have to make more statements. And it really depends. Again, lawyers have to advise their clients on what's the best under the facts and circumstances. With this high profile of a case, I would expect at least a statement from Jay-Z and Beyonce before they sent a cease and desist. But maybe they're going to do that next. We don't know. You asked a question about, now that they've said something, does it make them sound guilty? And that sounds a lot like the Streisand effect, where you bring attention to something, not necessarily making yourself look guilty, but you bring attention to something by saying something about it. But look, this is perhaps...
Right, I'm reporting on it again now. Everybody's going to be reporting on this. It's all over the news today.
But here's the deal, Andy. Like, this is the most public-facing interview, the biggest splash that directly hooks Jay-Z and Beyonce. This is the first one I've seen. There's a lot of creators out there who've been saying things like look into Jay-Z, look into Beyonce, who may have a following, but this is Piers Morgan, right? I haven't seen anyone as big as Piers Morgan directly address or have somebody on their show address Jay-Z and Beyonce and any alleged connection to Sean Combs, right? This is the first gigantic splash. So perhaps that's why.
It's pretty bad. We're going to put that. She makes some serious allegations, which Piers doesn't ever try to say are true, and I'm not either. But she makes a whole claim about the fact that she has 3 witnesses that are ready to, come forward about sort of behavior that she alleges about, sounding behavior. She makes a theory about Aaliyah. I don't know what's true, but she has a right to put this out there, especially if she has these people that are talking to her. Would that hold up in court if they came after Jaguar and she really did have 3 people who had their own opinions or stories about it? Is she allowed to have a theory about Aaliyah? Like, this is all stuff that she's allowed to do, no?
Yeah, that's interesting. So obviously for your viewers, the case of Jaguar, if she's the target of a defamation lawsuit, it's very different than Piers being the target of a defamation lawsuit, right? So she's making factual statements based on actual alleged experiences, meaning she's claiming knowledge of private facts. So she better have those private facts. So if she claims there are 3 witnesses that she's talking to now, she better have names of those witnesses. If she claims that, she was passed around, if she claims that, she specifically says in 2022 that there were experiences, some of which have come to light and surfaced. She needs to have receipts of those things. If she's claiming that she personally experienced them or people told them to her, in order to avoid potential defamation liability in the United States.
While he didn't name names, it was clear who he was calling out when he said, certain people think they can control the narrative by throwing their weight around, but they forget the truth always finds its way out. The audience was shook. This wasn't the usual snarky Piers. This was a man on the edge, ready to risk it all for what he believed in. Some people were living for the drama, rooting for him like he was David against Goliath.
You need to learn how to control your wife and her friends and their mouths. Because you got Beyonce in the Beehive looking real fucking dumb right now. 5 million unfollowed, and that number's gonna go up with every image in one of those freak.
She's applying pressure.
And God help, if anybody here, how that bitch really talks about people with her goofa country ass, they'll start unfollowing by the tens of hundreds.
Tens of hundreds.
And they should. Because the truth is, the only reason.
Now, there was a significant portion of the internet that is saying that Jaguar Wright is damn crazy. She's got felony convictions for a whole bunch of shit. And then there's the opposite side that believes the things that she's saying because Jay-Z is tied so close to Puffy. But let's get a third-party opinion from someone who knows Jaguar Wright and definitely knows Jay-Z.
What are your thoughts on Jaguar Wright being mentioned all over national news?
Not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well.
The thing about her is, like, sometimes there's a lot of truth to what she's saying based on my personal experience. I'm not going to say she's completely accurate all the time, but some of the things she said were things that I was actually thinking, but I was like, I could never say that because people would say I'm hating. But I know for a fact that, the thing she said, like the thing the thing they all have in common is, R. Kelly and Puff and the Weinstein and Epstein. When someone gets on a national platform like that and it's said where everyone, I guess now he's going to have to regulate that.
And regulate it they are trying to do successfully because Piers Morgan buckled under litigation pressure and left up all of her other comments regarding everyone else. I think at this point, it's odd for people to take what she's saying and just completely avoid it. She's been talking about Diddy for years, and now it's all unfolding right in front of us as he currently sits within a Brooklyn jail cell. Now, in Jaguar Wright's first interview since going on Piers Morgan, now mind you, this is after Piers Morgan, which is about a week or so ago, but not after the Piers Morgan apology. Now, while Piers referenced that they didn't do enough digging into her background before allowing her up on this segment, Jaguar Wright actually says something different.
We have to. Because the one thing I know about Piers Morgan is he is smart prey. And not only is he smart prey, he is a great conductor of information. He also vets things. And not only is he smart prey, he is a great conductor of information. He also vets things viciously. And I want to thank you for that. Because if my word is good enough to make it through Piers Morgan's firewall of please don't sue me, then I guess he just vetted me for every ounce of real life content on this blue couch. We thank you for that.
Do you feel that Piers Morgan allowed you to get, because you only have so many minutes, I know you don't know exactly how the show is going to be structured.
Yeah.
Did you get what you want to say out? And was there more for you to say? Of course, there's more to say.
I'll never have enough to say.
Right.
There will never be enough screen time for me to say. But what I will say is, I'm grateful for the questions he asked. I'm grateful for the time he gave me to answer. And I pray that I was able to hit everything that needed to be hit for the public.
And later on in this same interview, she doubles down on her comments about Jay.
So why did this hit Piers so hard? Think about it. His entire brand is built on being the guy who asks the tough questions and never backs down. Taking down that interview was like telling a boxer he couldn't throw punches. It struck at the core of who Piers is as a journalist. And let's not forget, he's no stranger to controversy.
Jack, let me ask you to kind of put a bun on the Piers Morgan situation. He brought you on to speak on Diddy, and it seemed that as if your focus turned to Jay-Z, his wife.
That's always been my focus.
Yes. What?
They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
We asked you this last time, and Piers Morgan said it. They're not here to defend themselves. Do you think they will, the Carters will speak about any of this at all? Do you just feel that they'll make
good question
about
Beyonce
what's going
is
on?
Losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything. Just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say so?
I mean, probably not, considering she's going to be indicted for anything she would say.
Yeah.
These are criminals. Diddy is a drug dealer, and so is Jay-Z. The proof is there. How many up people does he have to be aware of before people see him for who he is?
It seems like these artists are trying to run away from their past. Diddy changed his name multiple times to say, that's not me. I'm trying to move beyond Diddy. I'm Love now. It seems like Jay-Z would try to run away from his past.